Walt here from StogieReview.com with a video cigar review. This time around we are doing a first impressions review of Bloc by Dissident Cigars. This cigar came courtesy of Jerry. I think he felt bad for me a few weeks back. I had mentioned to him that I smoked through a box of Nub, the 640, 464 Ts in record time. And he made it a point to send me a variety of different stuff, most of which I had never experienced before. So I spent the last couple of weeks smoking all of the cigars in the package that I had in the past, and now we're getting to cigars that I've never had before, Bloc being one of them. And as a matter of fact, I had never even heard of the brand Dissident before. So I was kind of intrigued. I wanted to give it a try. The packaging was very different. It's got that old 8-bit graphic NES sort of feel to it, with the way the band is designed and the footband saying press start. So the first thing I did was lit up the cigar and started smoking it. I didn't bother looking into the line at all. I didn't want any preconceived notions going into it. I wanted to smoke, the first inch or two and just sort of feel out the cigar without knowing anything about it. That's part of the beauty of smoking something new. I don't want to get any preconceived notions by reading up on the brand or reading up on the cigar ahead of time. So this one is truly a first impressions with very little information on the brand going in. So now that I'm smoking into it a little bit, I grabbed my laptop, I started reading through the website, and it is pretty much just like I expected, with the packaging. It has that, I don't want to call it new age feel, but it's definitely bucking the trend of traditional cigar companies. It is, I guess it's kind of like my generation, people in their 30s. This has sort of a retro throwback feel. And if you go into the website and you read up on the company, it goes on to talk about how the cigar industry is kind of like a copy of a copy of a copy, and they want to do something totally different, and they're not afraid to go against the grain. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I went on to the Cigars page within the site to look up some information. The wrapper is a Habano from Jalapa. There is a double binder from Esteli. The filler says Mexican/all Esteli, and the size on this one is, I guess, what they're calling a BA, which is a 6 1/4 by 52. This has a real gentle sort of box press feel to it. Looking at it, it doesn't quite look box pressed, but it definitely feels a little out of round, if you will. So I lit up the cigar and I started smoking it, and initially it didn't really leave me with a very good first impression. The first puff was kind of pungent. It really hit you, especially retrohaling it. And I was getting a lot of dry flavors, woody and vegetal. And it was a little off-putting. As I smoked into it a little bit further, the flavor really mellowed out, sort of rounded. And now I'm getting a flavor that I'm really enjoying. I'm finding the cigar to be far better than I anticipated. When I try new cigars, I try not to set the bar too high because I don't like being disappointed. So I go into them, not expecting a whole lot. And this one is definitely over-delivering from what I expected. I'm going to smoke a little bit further. I'll come back. I'll talk a bit about what I thought about the cigar. And, we'll go from there. Well, I'm coming down the home stretch on my Bloc. I just pulled the band off. And I've got to say, I didn't realize there was anything written on the back. A little more of the old Nintendo sort of vibe going on. And I don't know that I ever showed you the footband, but let's see if we can do this and get it to focus. But I'm really enjoying the cigar. It's fantastic. I'm kind of gushing over it at the moment. I set the bar low coming into this because the first couple of puffs were very off-putting, but once I was an inch into the cigar, I was just in love with it. The flavors rounded out, and it just went from being off-putting to highly impressive and just a beautiful smoke. The construction is great. Good smoke volume, coats the palate well. I haven't had to grab my lighter very often. The ash is fairly strong. It holds on well. I didn't have any surprise ash drops in my lap. The smoke rate seems pretty good. I've been down here for a little while now. I don't remember what time I came down, but I've been at this for at the very least an hour, and I've still got a little bit of cigar to go yet. What I'm finding most impressive about this cigar is the finish. It is, it's very balanced. It has just the right amount of power and flavor, and the finish has got this nice oily sort of buttery texture to it that just sets it off from a lot of the other cigars that I've smoked recently. It makes me think back to the old Mayorga line. I wasn't a huge fan of the Mayorga to begin with, but they used this, I think it was a Habano 2000 wrapper that had the same sort of oily, buttery texture to it. But I don't remember them burning very well, and I have no idea what's on this cigar. I don't know whether it's Habano 2000 or not, but the finish makes me think back to the Mayorga, even though the flavor profiles are very different. The finish is similar, at least in my mind, from what I remember. The flavor profile is kind of woody, it's kind of earthy, it's got those kind of dark tones to it. There's a little bit of a pepper, a spicy punch through the sinus, and one of the very unique things that I'm finding about this cigar is it has sort of a dirty, kind of mushroomy like aftertaste. It's kind of light. It doesn't come on until after you expel all the smoke, and then if you kind of just sit back and taste what you've got going on, it has a little bit of a mushroomy kind of thing going on in the back end. And I don't know that I've ever described a cigar as being mushroomy before, but I kind of like it. Just as far as the total package goes, I'm thoroughly impressed. This is definitely something I want to smoke again in the future. I'm going to smoke again in the very near future. The downside to doing a review like this is that I came into this blind. I don't know anything about the brand. I don't know anything about the availability. It looks like this is a small boutique manufacturer, or at least a small boutique brand. I don't know who's making the cigars. And as a result, it looks like it's going to be kind of tough to track some down for purchase. And I have no idea what the cost is, but if I see them, I'm buying one, even if it's a $15 cigar. I hope it doesn't come to that. But I think it's going to be a little hard to track down, but I think it'll be worth it. I'm impressed. I'm eager to try more. I don't know what the other offerings in the Dissident Cigars stable is, but I'm really eager to try some of those as well. I hope they stack up to the Bloc. And again, I'm impressed, and I really enjoyed it.